We'll be looking at that story we had yesterday. On insurance, the president has signed a new insurance reform act. We're going to be looking into it. We can see that a lot of people are hailing that. If you look just in some of our top stories this morning, the Insurance Association is saying that's a good one. It's a good way to go. And we're going to be unpacking that and seeing what does that mean for us as Nigerians and the insurance sector as well in the country. And equally, in the course of the conversation, we'll equally move to the customs situation. Apparently, there's been a lot of news about from Friday. Things are going to go a bit awry. But it seems like it's already happening. Because today on the news again, or rather on the program, we told you that Customs has already started implementing the 4% FOB levy as of Monday. But as the program goes, we'll look into that. Now, a brief understanding of this Insurance Act. Now, in a significant push towards the administration, or his administration, that's President Tinubu's administration's $1 trillion economy vision, the president has signed the Nigerian Insurance Industry Reform Act, NIRA 2025, into law. Now, it is the first major overhaul of the country's insurance legal framework in over 2 decades, and it has already been called a game changer for financial services, investments, and consumer protection. The law aims to deepen insurance penetration, enhance public trust in the sector, and ensure that insurance policy plays a central role in mobilizing long-term capital and managing risk in Africa's largest economy. Now, what does the reform change? 1, higher capital requirements. Now, under the law, the new law rather, insurance must meet significantly raised capital thresholds, just like the banking sector. It's now happening in the insurance sector. Life insurance from 2 billion naira to 10 billion naira. Non-life insurers from 3 billion naira to 15 billion naira. Reinsurance companies now must hold 35 billion naira, up from 10 billion naira. These changes are designed to ensure financial resilience, reduce insolvency risk, and encourage industry consolidation, with mergers and acquisitions expected across borders. Again, as I said, what happened in the banking sector, and we're seeing that that's likely to happen again with the banking recapitalization money now being increased. You can see that First Bank in our stories again yesterday is trying to sell off some of its assets to be able to raise the 500 billion naira recapitalization funds needed. Now, compulsory insurance enforcement. The law strengthens enforcement of compulsory insurance, especially in motor, public building, and group life segments. To build public trust, it introduces a policyholders protection fund to compensate insured individuals if a licensed insurer becomes insolvent. Tech and consumer-centric mandates. To modernize the sector, the Act mandates the total adoption across the insurance value chain, from onboarding and claims processing to payments and policy tracking. Companies are expected to become faster, more transparent, and more accessible, especially to tech-savvy youth and SMEs. Now, there's also a strong focus on timely claim settlement. That's quite equally important, and with penalties for delays. Now, stiffer consequences for operating without a license, including fines and jail time. Now, the Act positions now on the global alignment front, because away from this, we equally have to know that we're in a global economy, we're in a global market. How does this apply to us on the global front? Now, the Act positions Nigeria to comply with global standards, including those of the IAIS and the ECOWAS. It opens the door for increased cross-border participation, especially through platforms like the ECOWAS Brown Card, allowing vehicles insured in one West African state to move freely across borders with recognized coverage. It's quite a lot, but I'm not the insurance expert or risk expert that will give you more. Just giving you just a brief background to our conversation. Joining me in the studio this morning is Bosun Adeyeye. He is a risk expert, and as I understand, insurance is an aspect of risk, and he's equally a public affairs analyst. Thank you for joining us this morning on the program.
Thank you for having me.
He's equally the Secretary of the Insurance Association here in Abuja. Thank you again for your insights on the program. Now, you've heard me reel out all that numbers. First of all, we see that some people are saying it's a beautiful thing, this act has come on board. What's your take on that?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for having me this morning. I think for me, this is the first time that we see a government that is actually paying the right attention to insurance as an industry.
Okay.
Over the years, what we have seen is that there has been much attention paid to banking aspect of the finance industry.
Okay.
We are all in the same industry, but part of that industry is insurance.
Okay.
In other parts of the world, what we see is that insurance companies own banks. That's to tell you the importance.
Of
Go to
insurance.
South Africa, go to UK, go to US. That's the reality. But come back to home in Nigeria, you discover that
The banks own
insurance companies become an appendage or a member of the group of a bank. It's not the reality in the real actual sense. But for the first time, government is looking in that direction to say this aspect of the finance industry is too important to be ignored, that we have done this for over the years, has actually denied the economy, denied Nigerian economy the right of actually benefiting what the industry will have done to the GDP of Nigerian economy. Because you can imagine if some of these things that are being put into this, not more bill now, it's now an act of the parliament, has been there over the years, the insurance industry will have grown better than what it is today. And for me, I want to congratulate the president for taking this bull. You know, he's a man who has been doing this in other areas. Thank God he remembers our own industry. And he has actually blazed this trail. So we really appreciate it. And we know that if the content of this act is actually implemented, it's going to be truly a game changer for the industry.
Okay.
And the economy will be better for it.
Okay, why do you think it will not? You said it's actually implemented. Will there be a reason for it not to be fully implemented?
No, I can tell you, with my experience as a Nigerian,
Okay.
I've been here for some time.
Okay.
We have beautiful laws, and the implementation has always been the problem. Policy formulation is never a problem in Nigeria, but the actual implementation of those policy provisions are the issue over the years. But I want to believe from what this government has done, from its inception from 2023 till now, I want to believe this law will be implemented. The enforcement aspect of it will be done to the letter. And like I said earlier, the economy will be better for it.
Okay.
You remember, one of those things that is a recurring point in this whole trajectory is building 1 trillion economy. And the president appreciates and understands that the role insurance will play in this is not mean. And that is why all of us are glad that a president in Nigerian history, you said in your intro, that over 2 decades, this is the first major attempt to actually redirect attention to what insurance can contribute to this economy. And we are glad about it.
Okay. Now, I'm going to hop on what you said on what I quoted in my intro. 20 years. Why has it taken that long for this to happen? And why hasn't the insurance sector by itself pushed for these reforms as well?
I can tell you for free, insurance industry has done its part.
Okay.
But you know, most of these things are, you can't force it. You can only lobby, you can only influence by talking to the right people who are in the right position to push for these policies and programs. But if the government does not see the need for it, it won't see the light of the day. But for the first time, we are seeing the government, and I think that is not surprising. The president is also a finance person. He's a chartered accountant. He lives and worked in most of his working life as a finance person. So he will understand naturally the importance of insurance in any economy that wants to actually grow. So we pride ourselves as the only industry or profession that protects other businesses. Look at this, your studio. I can see gadgets everywhere, worth several millions of naira. If anything happens to this now, whether you like it or not, it will take you a lot of time to replace this. And if you are replacing it from your pocket, you will know what that means to your balance sheet. But if you put insurance in place, it protects this whole thing. It's only the time that you may go off that will be lost. But financial-wise, you are safe, you are protected. So that's the importance of insurance. And this president realizes it, and that is why we're celebrating him today.
Okay. Now, I want us to go back to the nitty-gritty, to the basics of insurance. Maybe for someone out there who doesn't really understand how it works. Now, you've brought to us an example. Say now we've put this now on insurance. We're paying premiums every month. Yeah. What happens when nothing happens? What happens to the premiums we're paying? How do we, do we recoup some of that money back? Because I think that's some of the things that people need to understand. They feel like they're just dashing people money that they might never get to use later in life or anything.
Yes, I agree with you that there are a lot of issues around perception.
Okay.
And over the years, even before I joined insurance, I knew about this. And I've been here for upward of almost 2 decades now.
Okay.
Practicing insurance in Nigeria. So I understand that there are a lot of myths around those things that people say. Many people today will open their mouth and say Nigeria insurance does not work.
Okay.
Insurance does not work in Nigeria. But ask them, have they actually experienced that non-workability personally? No. Some of them heard from their forefathers or fathers that, insurance is not working in Nigeria. And they carry that narratives across to other people, and it becomes a perception. Perception is very important because it can even sway people away from the reality. And that is why it's important that sensitization, education, like your platform is providing now, is very, very important. I can tell you that there are different types of insurance.
Okay.
We have those that we call life insurance. Every life insurance that you put in place is meant to pay something back to you, whether in your lifetime or when you are gone. We have some that are actually like a financial plan you put in place. You can say you want to do it for 5 years. You can do it for 10 years. You determine how much that is, and you contribute towards it. And there's a life plan in it. What's the life component of that? For example, if you take a plan that is for 10 years, and it is meant to be 10 million naira contribution that you will do for the 10 years. But second year into contributing, that person dies. So the life component in that policy will make that the beneficiary, it could be the next of kin or any member of the family that the person has actually indicated, will collect 10 million naira, notwithstanding that you have contributed only less than possibly 1 million naira.
Okay.
That's the essence. That's what we call insurance.
Okay.
Then another part of it is the general property insurance, like I mentioned the other time. Talk about motor, you talk about building. When you do those general insurance, you don't get anything back if nothing happens.
Okay.
But you get something. Let me explain this. There was a time I used to insure new cars from a popular auto shop. I don't want to mention their name so that I will not be doing free advertisement for them.
Thank you.
There was a day we were picking a car, picking the car documents just out of their auto garage. As the guy was driving out, it involved an accident. The money itself has not reached my company account, but accident has happened. We had to pay because he has already given us the money. I've taken custody of the money. So as me representing the company, we have already been liable to pay a claim on that transaction that has almost not started. So people lose sight on those ones that crystallized, but they keep complaining about, I did 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and nothing happened. My money went like that. What happens if you start today and it's meant to run 1 year, and the second day something happens? It can happen that it will be a total loss. You insure 30 million naira car, and second month into that insurance, the car is involved in total. As a matter of fact, it may not be total loss to you, but the moment the estimate of repair of a car is up to 60% and above, in the insurance industry, we write it off. That means you are eligible to get a value of that insurance, full value, except what we call excess deduction. So those are the benefits that people lose sight of. For example, the third party, I think that is what most Nigerians know.
Yes.
Many people don't understand that it is meant for the third party, not for them.
Explain that.
You have a car, for example, and you buy that car 10 million naira, you put it on the road.
Okay.
You are possibly the first party. The insurance company that insures you is the second party.
Okay.
The third party is the ordinary Nigerian walking on the road that does not know you and the company. But you use your own car to hit that person. That's third party liability. Okay. Or you hit another person's car driving on the same road with you. You are liable to pay. The company is liable to pay claim, but not on your own car. You know, in the course of you eating somebody.
Okay.
In the course of you eating somebody.
Okay.
Your car is also damaged.
Okay.
You are the one who insured. You are the one who paid the premium.
Okay.
But the company is not bothered about your own car. They are bothered about that person that you eat his own car.
Oh.
That's why it is called third party. And that is why we have other insurances that cover the same car.
And third party as well?
No. We call it comprehensive insurance.
Okay.
Comprehensive will cover the same car against third party. That third party liability, it used to be 1 million naira limit, but now it's 3 million naira. And the money has also, for third party insurance, it used to be 5,000 naira, but now 15,000 naira. And the value has also gone from 1 million to 15 million naira.
Triple.
But if you do comprehensive, it automatically covers you against any third party liability. To that limit that I mentioned, that's one. It covers your own car. Full damage, whatever happens to that car, it covers it. 3, it covers it against fire incidents. Fire could be external, it could be from the component parts of the car itself. It's covered. It covers against what we call total disappearance.
That's stealing?
That's stealing. If your car just disappears. If we have seen situations where the owners of the properties like this connive with some people to actually stage their own.
Like arson.
But when that happens, the company will still go ahead and do the needful while investigation will continue. And most times when investigation reveals that you have actually done that, you are a corporate.
Insurance fraud.
And we will prosecute you. So those are some of the, and you know, we also have what we call compulsory insurances that are meant to be enforced. But over the years, we have not seen much enforcement in those areas. One of them is this compulsory, third party I mentioned. Another one is professional indemnity, which is meant to be taken by professionals like medical doctors, lawyers, who take services, that can actually, in the course of delivering those services, maybe out of negligence or certain things just go wrong. And you make your client to incur liability. So instead of you bearing that body, you pass that body to an insurance company. Because you have taken. Another one is builder's liability. Any building that is more than 2-story building, from 2-story building and above, is meant to be insured. So many of these things people don't know. There's something we call public liability. This is your compound now. There's supposed to be public liability. As I was coming in, if I slip on at the front of the building there, right inside your compound, and something happens to me, you are liable to compensate me. But many people don't know about this. But these are compulsory insurances that are in our laws.
Wow. This is quite a very insightful conversation, and we've actually gone into a mini class on insurance this morning on the program. Thank you for that education. Now let's go back to the act itself. Now, the raised capital thresholds, how would this reshape the insurance market?
It would, because I look at the first point in that act now is that there will be stricter compulsory insurance enforcement. All those ones that I mentioned that are compulsory insurances. So it's not going to be business as usual for you that drive on Nigerian road without third-party insurance. But that's the minimum. You can decide not to have comprehensive. If you suffer your loss, you bear it. But because you are not the only person, as a matter of fact, when I was learning driving several years ago, one of those things they told me is that you are the only one that is normal, that is sane on the road. Every other person is mad. And that's why you have to be conscious of the way you drive. And in order to also do certain protection against, because there are things that happen naturally. You may not be so sure that you will still do everything perfectly. That's why it's important you put insurance in place, that in case something goes wrong in the course of you driving, that protects you and protects the other person. That's that. So stricter enforcement will ensure that all Nigerians are now adhere strictly to the provisions of compulsory insurance in Nigeria that affect their fees. I mentioned professionals, I mentioned builders, contractors. So any insurance, compulsory insurance that affects your own area of operation, I don't know whether it affects you as a journalist, and you would also need to possibly do some insurance that will protect you. You see some journalists this day come on here and say all manner of things, but I think you have press freedom. You can say anything as long as you are facing the camera. So, but the point I'm making is that there are compulsory insurances that have to be implemented. That's one. Two, there is now need for robust capitalization. You mentioned from 2 billion naira, it is now to 10 billion naira for life companies. From 3 billion naira is now to 15 billion naira for general company. General company are the people that do non-life insurances. Like I mentioned your studio, a company that will come and insure this studio is a non-life company. So they are meant to have minimum of 15 billion naira capitalization. Then there is something we call reinsurance. Every insurance company also have reinsurance plan. So because what means is that it's not every risk that you undertake that you can actually bear. There should be another company bigger in posture, in resources, that should be able to be there for you in case you run into crystallization of certain claims that may be bigger than what you can immediately bear. That's the essence of reinsurance company. We have them in Nigeria, we have them abroad. So beyond that, there is also full digitalization of the process now. So there will be more feasibility in the technological driving platforms now of insurance than we used to have now, because it's now a matter of law. So it's not just going to be the manual or walk into physical places now. Now we will make use of the tech place very, very well. Another part of this law now is that it's now going to ensure faster claim processes. Of all these things we have been saying all along, the most important thing is claim payments. The reason why we had problem over the years that the insurance does not work in Nigeria is because some people, rightly or wrongly, they've suffered not being paid
their claims
at some point in the past. But I can tell you that is in the past. It can't happen again in Nigeria. Even before this law, if you have a valid, every time I appear on radio or television, I tell anybody, a number of times they call from homes. If you have a claim that is not settled, call me immediately after the studio time and tell me, send me the details, the policy number, the company that undertake that policy, they will pay. And Nigerians also need to know that we have regulator. We call them Nigerian Insurance Commission. It's in Garki there, NICOM. So they must not hear that a company is supposed to pay claim and it's not doing that. You will pay bigger fines. You can imagine that you're supposed to settle a claim of 250,000 naira, but you didn't do that, and you're asked to pay a claim of, a fine of 5 million naira. Nobody wants to do that.
Okay. All right. So before we continue, yes, although journalists have press freedom, but you should speak facts and the truth at all times, not just make up anything because you have press freedom. Now, back to the conversation. Sorry, there is something that's very important that I didn't mention there. Go ahead.
I think it's the last of those points in this new law. In banking, before now, we still have already anyway, NDIC. NDIC is a company that actually serves as a guarantee company for Nigerian depositors in Nigerian banks.
Nigerian Deposit Insurance Company.
Nigerian Deposit Insurance Company. So they protect whatever happens. You have heard about Savannah Bank in the past. You have heard about so many companies banks that have gone down the drain. But there will be no one of them whose personal money will be lost, because government has undertaken to pay them. It's like a guarantee on those investment or deposits in those banks. The same thing is now what government wants to do in insurance. So that's why we have now Policy Holders Protection Fund. So that will also now happen in insurance. For example, if anything happens, yes, we have to pay claim, but in case anything happens to that company, and there is something that will affect an individual investment in such insurance company or platform, this kind of fund will be like a buffer, will protect your investment and my own. I'm also insuring my properties. So there will be nothing like, oh, I insured and I'm not paid. For whatever reasons, that company runs into a problem why it cannot pay. The government, this guarantee will be there to protect you. Okay. And I think for me, that's something Nigerians should jubilate about.
Okay. Now, we, just like the banking sector when it happened a few years ago, there were mergers and acquisitions. Are we likely to see that take place in the quality insurance sector?
Yes, I saw one tabloid yesterday, one of the newspapers carrying it as headline that we are set for mergers and acquisition. I say, why will you be so sure? What are you thinking? What do you think our industry is? Because I can tell you for free that many companies will not need any merger and acquisition. Yes.
From 3 billion to 15 billion. They have that 500%?
Yes.
Okay.
I can tell you that many companies, like you introduced me, so I should know.
Okay, yeah.
I'm the General Secretary of Nigeria Council of Registered Insurance Brokers, Abuja Area Committee. So I'm speaking from the position of facts. Okay. Yes, maybe one or two eventually will be able to, may be running into that in order to survive. But I can tell you, several of the companies we have today will meet up these new capital requirements without merger and acquisition. That's to tell you how robust our industry was already even before this came up. So, and this one will also help us, possibly those that are targeting that kind of level of capitalization before will now do better. We see companies today that underwrite what we call premium income of around billion naira within the same industry. So what are we now talking? So somebody underwriting around billion naira premium, you will now be talking about 50 billion to intimidate such person, I mean such an entity or company. No.
Okay. Okay. All right. We're going to have to move away from insurance now to our second conversation. And, well, it's been quite very insightful. And maybe we'll have you back to come discuss more on insurance. But let's go to the new customs levy. It's been causing a lot of uproar on social media. Some people were crying and saying that cars are going to become expensive. If you have not bought cars by now, then forget about it. But let's just do a brief intro. In a bid to streamline its revenue structure and fund its digital transformation, the Nigerian Customs Service, NCS, introduced a new 4% customs administration charge applied to the free on-board value of all imports. This reform is anchored in the Nigerian Customs Service Act 2023 and was designed to consolidate previous levies, specifically the 7% customs collection fee and the 1% comprehensive import supervision scheme, CISS. Now, if you know, this levy was supposed to take effect in February, and we had that on the program too, but the people, there was a lot of uproar and it was shut down, and they went to the National Assembly and they were told to scrap up the 1% to 7% and do the 4% FOB. Now we're back to it. The National Assembly, House of Representatives, intervened and ordered the customs to halt the earlier 1% CISS, calling it unauthorized under the new act, while pushing for proper enforcement of the 4% levy once it meets legal and procedural standards. It seems that those 4% has happened. Now, why does this matter? Nigeria needs improved customs systems, but must avoid adding friction to an already expensive and slow import process. With inflation still high, this levy could drive up the cost of goods and erode consumer purchasing power. Transparent, well-consulted policy remains essential for investor confidence and ease of doing business. Now, I don't know if you've seen some of the tweets on Twitter. People are wailing and crying, and, you know, some have this explanation for it, and some saying, okay, if you bought something at 100 naira and it gets to customs will tell you that the value is not 100 naira, the value is 1,000 naira. And so therefore they are asking you to pay your customs duty on the 1,000 naira, not on the value that you bought. Now, that's what they are saying. However, that's what people on the tweets of Twitter are.
Are you saying that's what the new law says?
That's not what the new law says. That's what the interpreters of the new law, according to social media.
They have the freedom to actually evaluate what you are bringing in.
Yes.
Different from what you declare in the paper.
Apparently, that's what the people are saying. Now, the question now is this. Will this actually help us as a country? Because the limitations really are saying it's going to become luxury, especially for car owners to now own a car. And we've seen what happened, really. Cars that you could buy at 1.5 million before instantly became 6 million. This was before this whole levy thing came on board. So how does this affect our economy and even ease of doing business, and the cost of living and way of living for Nigerians?
Well, I will start by saying that it's good that we do things properly.
Okay.
Governments also need revenue, and they drive this through different areas. And I think one of the major revenue generating agency in Nigeria is custom. However, before now, I think within the last 2-3 years or even more, things have actually changed in the auto market. It used to be much more affordable. I still remember up to 2020, you could still bring, I'm just using that as an example, what we call Tokumbo, Toyota Corolla of possibly 2012, 2013, for as low as 4 million naira, 4-5 million naira. But before now, before this one you are talking about, it's going for, most markets is going for about 12 million and more now.
Yeah.
So that's already like 10-3 of what it used to be. So if you are now saying that the current operational will take it higher, so it will truly mean that car ownership will become a big luxury. And for me, I used to tell people, for people living in a place like Abuja, which has no functional public transport system, life will become more difficult for Nigerians. Because in Abuja, I've been here for quite some time, and I understand that moving around in Abuja, having a car is necessity. It's not luxury. So when things now happen, we are just looking at only car. It can't be only car now.
Yeah, of course, definitely.
Because this will also have multiplier effects on manufacturers.
Yes, definitely.
Who will import,
they are equally crying out.
Who will import things. Somebody was talking yesterday on a platform and said, even the cement that we say we produce in Nigeria, there are better component parts of that cement that are imported. The chemicals, it's only limestone, the stone itself, that actually is in large deposit in Nigeria. But there are many other things that we use to produce that are imported. And that's why, for the first time in a long time, this rainy season, price of cement refused to go down. Normally, by the dip of rainy season like this, you see the prices of cement coming down. But as we speak, cement is still selling for 10,000 and above in most parts of Nigeria, including Abuja. So, for me, I think government should be circumspective. Government should look at it. Whatever policy they are bringing on board should have human face. Because if everything will actually make Nigerians to have a shallow pocket, then we have to look at it the second time. Our custom, I think, Controller General, Wale Adeni, is a fine professional. And if you don't know, he's actually elected I think the leader of the
Customs.
world platform for customs globally now. So that's a pride for the nation, and it's a testament to the fact that the man is doing the right thing, the reforms he's bringing on board. But in the area of tariff hike, I beg on behalf of Nigerians,
Okay.
they should have a second look at it.
Okay.
Because Nigerians are not actually having it very easy concerning certain things. Some of the reforms that the government has done are actually trickling down gradually.
Okay.
We have been beginning to see the importance of some of those decisions.
Okay.
When fuel subsidy was removed, fuel went up as high as 1,000 to 1,300 naira. But today we have fuel now 8 something, almost 900 naira in some places. So it's coming down gradually. And I believe that by the time somebody like Dangote starts its direct sales to filling stations across the nation, like he has told us, I think 1 month ago, things will further come down in that area.
But there's a problem with that, because we see that the oil marketers have an issue with him now cutting off the middleman and going directly to the people. Won't that take away a large chunk of jobs from other people who are already doing it?
I understand that, but I look at it in a different way.
Okay.
I was hearing something before I left home this morning on television, and we're talking about what used to happen under the previous government when manufacturers and people like Dangote will be given concessioned dollar rates. And I can tell you, for all the time that man built that refinery, apart from the 20% the Nigerian government had as a stake in that Dangote refinery, which at some point I was hearing that they said possibly the company, the 20% was about whether to be sold or something. I didn't know the current status now. But I know that all through the time, Dangote enjoyed subsidized dollar rates alongside some other manufacturers that time. So you can't build such big, because we understand that it's the single largest refinery, there's a name they call it, globally as we speak. So Nigerians should benefit if supplying filling station directly will make you and I to buy at cheaper rates in the filling station. I think that one will be more important to Nigerians than the middle men that are actually crying out. I understand their plight. There should be room for every stakeholder, every operator to fairly compete. But over the years, we know that people like Dangote, this man, the other guy, Rabiu, the owner of Boa Cement, they've enjoyed a lot of government patronage in one way or the other, either in the name of tax holiday or this subsidized dollar concession that we talk about. I think government can address it. But my point is that whatever anybody can do that will make Nigerians, the generality of us, not the few middlemen. These people are not up to 1% of Nigerians. But we are saying what Dangote wants to do by supplying directly to filling stations will bring the price drastically down. If that is the reality, please let Dangote go ahead.
So basically, let the oil marketers come to...
I know Dangote also has conscience. That this 20 billion investment I have here, if we actually have to value it, Nigeria's money, Nigeria as a nation, the money it has in that investment is not small. So Nigerians should benefit from such humongous investment.
All right. So hopefully they will come together on the table and have a conversation and find a way to make it work. So just before we wrap up, our final question, you mentioned revenue generation. So my question is, how do we balance revenue generation, trade facilitation, and even, as you say, human living? How do we do that so that, people don't get to, suffer because the government needs to generate revenue?
Yes, I've said that. Today we have new tax reforms that will take effect from next year.
1st January.
If you look at the whole gamut of that law, that new law now, it's actually pro-poor. Now anybody, any less than 800,000 naira will be exempted. Businesses that have turnover of 25 million naira below will be exempted. That's pro-poor. So I think customs should also, they should also do something in that regard. Customs should do something in that regard where there will be certain imported products that should be exempted from this general rates.
Okay.
Rates should be done in such a way that it will target different. You can't expect, there's something we call progressive tax.
Okay.
There's regressive tax. There's
Okay.
proportional tax.
Okay.
Situation where you tax people the same rates. The poor, somebody bringing 5 million naira car into the country, another person bringing Rolls Royce of 300 million naira. You are taxing. No, those ones who have more should pay more.
Okay.
Why those of us who have less
Should
pay less?
Okay.
So I think that's for me. Government should look inward to ensure that policies that they are churning out should be pro-poor.
All right. We need to wrap up here. That's the much we can take this morning. Thank you so much, Mr. Bosun Adeyeye, for your inputs on insurance and equally the customs levy. That's the much we have for you this morning on the program. We're discussing the new Insurance Act and even giving a bit of education on what insurance is all about on the program this morning, and equally the customs 4% FOB levy that's taking effect already. Thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning. I've been your host, Shamma Kawanfa. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms for more news programs and documentaries. Same time, same place tomorrow. Bye for now.